Hey everyone, welcome back to Creative Callouts. I'm your host Giggila, and this time I'm joined by Spark Game CEO Jakus. How are you, Jakus?
I am very, very pleasant today. Thank you.
That's good. So let's jump straight into things. You've just
Okay.
had a banger of a map release, launching with 1.7 concurrent on day one, was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you had Apollo late game. Do you want to walk us through that?
Well, firstly, I'm honestly just blown away at how well it's done. Obviously, with the launch of UEFN last year, we saw that there is a huge market for kind of nostalgic Fortnite experiences. We had the Chapter 1 remakes, which I've obviously studied at length for a video project last year. We saw those exploded in popularity. They very quickly fell off, but
Yeah.
there was a market there. And when it came to going into this year, I was like, I mean, I was playing Chapter 5 Fortnite, and I was like, this is good, but it doesn't really feel like Fortnite Battle Royale, the Fortnite that I loved. So how do I bring that back? Well, Chapter 2 has always been my favorite map, so it just seemed fitting that I'm kind of at a point in my creative career where I feel like I was capable of doing something like this. So the timing, it just felt right. And obviously there's the issues of the copyright, and that's what inspired me to turn it into a late game. You know, if
Yeah.
uh, if you can't explore the whole map, then the whole map doesn't have to be there, and therefore Epic Games doesn't care. So yeah, that's pretty much how it came to be.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was there with you on launch, playing through the games, and while you and your lobby was getting dominated by my brother, um, we were all having fun and just playing through it, reminiscing on many things, and also yelling at my screen when you killed me twice. So,
What can I say? I'm just too good at this game.
uh, yeah, probably better than me. We're all creative creators. It's not like we go into competitive too much, so it's not like I doubt you
Nah.
could put in if you put one FNCS champion against 100 creative creators. I think the FNCS champion wins.
Oh yeah, we're cooked. We're
Yeah,
cooked.
we're cooked. But no, I mean, obviously it's not the first map you've ever released. Obviously you've been working on other maps, specifically Snapshots. Snapshots has been going on for ages, and
hmm
do you want to walk us through what Snapshots is?
Well, yeah, Snapshots is my Battle Royale experience. It's a fully custom Battle Royale that I started developing way back at the birth of my creative career in early 2021. Um, Came out in 2022, the very start of the year, and just across the years, I've kept developing it and trying out new things. Like I've tried my own spin on like Fortnite seasons that I loved. Like I tried my own spin uh, on Season X with my way back in 2022. Um,
Oh wow.
I've tried all sorts of much more like just out there concepts. Like I had a season where the map had exploded and it was kind of like this like fracture-esque like chunks in space with low gravity and stuff and such. It's a really fun creative outlet of sorts to be able to, because I've always loved the world building of Fortnite Battle Royale, and I've always wanted to make my own world that specifically evolves and updates in just interesting ways. And being able to do that for the last 2 years, and especially with an actual audience now that
Mm.
it's actually built a community is so cool. I must say, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean you've taken your own spin even onto chapters as you introduce ventures instead of chapters, which to be
Yeah.
fair, at first I just thought I misheard someone say that, but after I realized what it actually was, I was like, that makes sense, and it is an actual good spin because most people now use chapters, which won't knock it. It is a good method. It's effective. It does the job. So it's still
Yeah,
very
I
good.
mean, yeah, with chapters you kind of know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah, like oh, it's a Starfall chapter 2. Well, it's the second chapter of Starfall. And I just wanted something that would stand out a little bit more. People have tried all sorts of things. Like I've heard book, I've heard episode, I've heard
Yep.
I don't know, library probably is out there somewhere. But I wanted something that didn't really fit the whole thing. So I was playing Save the World one day in like 2022, and I saw obviously they've got the venture zones, haven't they? They introduced ventures as like they're not seasons in their own right. I think they're actual updates. Um,
Yeah.
and I thought, hey, that that has a ring to it. Venture 2 Season 1. So I wrote that down.
But yeah, no, I've never made the connection between just, the save the world ventures and using it in a BR sense.
I don't think many people have. Sometimes I get someone saying, "Oh, hey, it's like Save the World Adventures," but it kind of I feel like it's got this kind of familiar sound to it because a lot of Fortnite players are exposed to Save the World. Like,
Hmm.
you might see Save the World news in your feed as you're scrolling, and you might see, oh, a new Venture season has started. Venture season, and then you play Snapshot, and it's Venture to Season 1, and you're like, huh, that it's not chapter, but it has that familiarity to it where people kind of
Yeah.
fill in the blanks.
Yeah, it's different, but it's also not too different that it makes it so it's like a massive standout. So
Exactly,
it's
yeah.
like if instead of using like chapters, it's a new, I don't know, just insert any other word that doesn't mean that.
It's just,
It's
I guess,
it's a new
yeah,
word. It's
the
like,
next chapter in the literal sense rather than the
yeah,
Fortnite sense.
yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen some battle royales that have rather confusing naming conventions, like Directing Pete's battle royale, for example. No Shade to Pete, obviously, it's a
Mhm.
incredible map, and he's an
Oh yeah,
incredible creator.
visually,
But
yeah,
the name of the second chapter being Knights of the Apocalypse battle royale always kind of confused me, and it was also very wordy, which I
yeah.
think ultimately probably harmed it when it came to branding and promoting it.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue.
No.
It's not it's not one of those names you could just say like Snapshot, Starfall, or like something like that. And it's not like just one of those quick-witted double syllables kind of things. But it's like,
Yeah, I
how many
mean,
syllables is
yeah,
that? Well, it's more than two. I can tell you that much.
it is more than two. It's too many. That's what I think.
Yeah,
Um,
but
well, yeah, I mean, it kind of, if I may go on a slight tangent
yeah.
here, it's kind of ties, I guess, into my design philosophy a bit when it comes specifically to branding. You'll notice there's this big trend in the creative community where it's that the name is something royale. I don't know where that came from. I don't know if that came from Nova Royale being huge in 2021 or if there was an earlier iteration. I think that was probably a later iteration as well. But I've always observed that that seems to be very common.
Hmm.
And to stand out, I think you need a different invention. Like Snapshots and Starfall were the big two of 2023, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
like
Those were the big two.
even towards the end of the year, Ultra Royale was starting to get popular, but I think the Royale still held it back. But obviously, Snapshots and Starfall, they kind of brand themselves as their own kind of games rather
Yeah,
than. Yeah, it's good to break away from that. I think more
yeah.
people should do that. Which is
No,
not to say specifically copy ventures, because there have been some people doing that, and I don't mind that much. But like, come on.
yeah. There's like many kind of copy kind of things you see and like everything like that. But it's good to take inspiration from any type of map.
Yeah,
Inspiration is good.
I mean,
Any
I'm
type
more
of
honored than
inspiration is good.
anything that I came up with a term that people want to use. So,
Yeah,
I mean, go for it, I guess.
yeah, yeah. No, inspiration is
I'm not going to stop
always
you.
great in this, but copying, that's where the line is. It's like you can always take inspiration from something. I've taken inspiration from photos, videos, or even movies to build and design stuff.
Oh,
Whereas,
100%. I mean, I've taken inspiration from obviously there's the whole snapshots and original, track records that a couple of the seasons have held up. So obviously I've taken a bit too heavy inspiration from Fortnite itself at times. I've taken inspiration from I think Breath of the Wild was a big one for me, Zelda. Um, love that game and it really inspired my
it's a
building
good game.
practices
It's a
for
good
a
game.
while. It is.
It really is.
It's good to take inspiration from media. I know X Empire is going to kill me for saying this, but I know X Real is very inspired by Apex Legends.
Yeah,
I think
there are.
half of the BRs in this community are, to be fair. If they're not copying Fortnite, they're copying Apex.
Yeah, someone's copying somewhere or along the line. It's gonna happen.
It's human
It's
nature. Fortnite is a
yeah,
copy of PUBG after all.
yeah, exactly. So it's like if people are going to complain about copying, look how far the copying goes back, and like you should see like when when anyone just thinks of an idea, were they the first to think it, or are they just the most recent to think it? It's like there's always so many. I'm going to say air quotations new ideas, but sometimes these new ideas just are rehashes of another idea or a thing that tried before but didn't work, or something that is working and they just haven't realized.
Yeah, exactly. I always think there's no harm in taking inspiration from other people. I think it's very frowned upon in the creative community. Like obviously we had the recent drama with the pit
Mm-hmm.
in this last month. Now, I'm not really sure where I stand on that. I think having competition and inspiration is ultimately a good thing, but I think a line has to be drawn, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. Like you said, copying not good. You see, for example, obviously just because it's a popular target, the pit has so many just blatant copies, and I
yeah,
think that's not cool. But I think taking inspiration and doing your own thing with something is always really cool.
yeah. I think it's like where I don't really stand on either side with that kind of drama stuff. I just say both
Yeah.
sides have got good points, both sides have got bad points. That's
Yeah,
fair.
exactly. I think
But
both
it's like
sides have a
if
case.
yeah, if we like say the example of the pit, if we just take it as a genre, if people are able
Hmm.
to create a new idea and it just uses a hole that you jump into and fight, and you call it the pit, that's fine. If there's a new idea around it,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
it's like
yeah,
if
there's
you're able to
no
create
harm in
something,
that.
yeah, because that's then taking inspiration and adding on to it and making a difference with it. But if you just take the pit and change its colors, like that's asking for trouble. It's
Yeah,
like
like I don't know if I agree with the legal side of like, striking maps down. Like I don't know if I was in that position, I would do that. But, you know, if you're just making a recolor, like you said, what did you expect? I mean, come on.
yeah,
You mess around, you find out.
it's like what was there? It was months ago now, but there was this thing where the pit would literally just be recolored. There was purple pit, blue pit, red pit, yellow pit. Or
Yes, there was. I
there was
remember
like
that.
that trend, or is like red versus blue pit, or oh, don't even get me started on red versus blue. Gosh, that's a whole other genre. Um, the amount of times red versus blue has been run into the ground, it is crazy. It still pulls numbers and everything, but it's like that one's been going on for so long, and I would love to see like newer ideas. It's like all of these BRs. It's like with snapshots, you've got Starfall, you've got X Royale, you've got Cat Paws thing coming out, you've got well, you had Golden Island, which is currently in between its second phase. Um,
Yeah.
but no, it's like there's so many. I feel like people who complain about BR and then say, "Oh, I want to do creative," but then find creative boring. Are you sure it's not just you're finding the game boring? Just
I mean, all of
playing?
us, we have
Yeah.
our times where we've burnt out. I mean, if it
Oh,
wasn't for creative, I would have quit during chapter 3. I hated that chapter, but I was creating and I was loving it, so I played every day still.
yeah, there was definitely points in. I think the only season I really disliked out of chapter 3 was season 3 of it.
Yeah,
That one sucked.
that was a rough
I
spot.
did quite a lot of work in creative in that time. Um,
Yeah, that summer was a good time.
yeah, that summer was a good time just for making maps and that. It's like whenever this is something I've talked about with the team a bit, is when there's a bad Fortnite season, creative does so well.
It does. Yes, I
It
remember
blows
during
up.
during Wild, because obviously a
Yeah.
lot of people didn't like
Oh
Chapter
yeah.
4 Season 3. A lot of creative maps were booming during that time because people
Mm.
love Fortnite, but they don't love Wilds.
Oh yeah. It was like I remember seeing recently for your April Fools, you announced you're doing a wild season. That was hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, please say it's April 1st. Please say it's April 1st. Please say it's April 1st. I was like, please.
Yeah, I did very nearly actually make like Wilds Royale as a bit for April Fools. I just didn't have
Oh,
time.
yeah.
It would have
I mean,
been funny.
yeah, I had we had an April Fool's update to one of the FC News maps.
Mm.
That's the augment box, pretty much. For augment box, the premise of it is there's augments. So he decided to remove augments. So you don't get to choose anymore. We just took away the entire premise of the box fight. We should have just taken away the weapons as well. That would have been funny. Um,
Yeah, make it a box.
yeah, just make it a box. You get your pickaxe, go for it. Um,
Yep.
Zero build, zero fight. We'll just call it that or something. That's a good idea for next year. I'm noting that down. Um, but no,
Yeah.
I think moving on to something else is you have Spark Games. Spark Games, is it Spark Studios? Is it
Spark Games,
it is
yes.
games? Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you do
That's
there?
kind of um I wouldn't call it a professional creative team. It's kind of like eh, an unlike incorporated creative team sorts. We've kind of come together. Originally, it was created to develop snapshots. Throughout the final couple of months of 2023, I started bringing people on to help me with level design for snapshots, like the incredibly talented Call Me Nearly of Team Syndicate, um, and Doopy and Bunny of Bite Size Battlegrounds.
Mm-hmm.
I brought them on, and eventually we got to a point where there were so many people coming on. Like I've got uh, Timeless Order. You might have seen him on Twitter. He kind of correlates the Fortnite storyline and kind
Yeah.
of he manages the lore book on Fortnite.gg as well. He's
Yeah.
kind of helping with the lore on snapshots. So we had this huge collection of creators, and I thought, let's make it into something where we can kind of grow and work together because the landscape is changing. It's becoming much more team uh, based. Like Starfall is now it's like a big team now, isn't it? Um,
Yeah, decent. It's bigger than what it was. It used to just be three main dev members, and now you've got two mainstay helpers and like brand deals with it and all sort of funding with
exactly.
it. So it's a
You've got
way bigger thing now, and it's like we we've been working obviously with Lockheed's a lot recently with it, and obviously we've
yes.
had our team working on it, and we are close to finishing. We admittedly have just gone through a little bit of a cleanup of some of the areas that we have previously worked on.
Okay.
Um, so some of it we did actually change up. We wanted to change up a style because some of those things were built 3, 4 months ago now. And
Wow.
yeah, considering the first POI we finished was back in November, and now it's April. So
Okay. So you're getting to like a clean 6 months now.
oh, it's been over 6 months. We've had
Wow.
that island since September, I'm sure. But
My oh my.
we wanted to finish chapter 2 but due to so many issues, um, we moved just to not season, chapter 3. But no, we've definitely had a shift in what's happening between chapter 2 and 3, as chapter 2 was worked on mainly by 3 people, and then I jumped on the bandwagon in the in the second half of the development of Starfall chapter 2, and
Yes.
then with chapter 3, myself, Actualist and OJ, we've all been working since the beginning, and then now we've had additions such as Zero Crew and Lockie's in. So,
A very, very talented group, I must say.
oh, I will give credit to us. We have definitely been working on a load of things, and we have to constantly keep working on things as there's so much competition now. As we've got yourself with Snapshots, we've got X Royale,
Yep.
we've got Alter, we've got so many other ones, and it's like this competition. I love it. I love this competition. I love
Definitely.
having a purpose to want to develop stuff. Because if one person was sitting at the top, what are they going to do? Sit?
Well, that's pretty much. This is not to sound egotistical, but I think there was a time where Snapshots was pretty much untouchable because Fortnite would have been my main competitor, but dude was too busy to fully focus on season 3 development or season 4 development, I think. So Fortnite didn't have any new releases. Snapshots had this meteoric rise in 2022, little bit of a fall off, but then it kind of grew back to a very strong point going into 2023. Obviously, that's when we did the Snapshots Starfall collab,
Yep.
which I believe was when only Lytton and OJ worked on the map, but
I
I
think
could be
Ash was
wrong.
working by then.
Okay, yeah.
I wasn't in the picture by then. I know that for sure. Because this is
Yeah.
still back into the realm of when I wasn't around. As I started in Creative 21, summer
Mhm.
21, and I didn't get into the community till late 20 kind of 2. And
Yeah.
I somehow, out of a fluke kind of coincidence, the person who brought me in was Lockie's.
Oh,
He
wow.
was he was the one to bring me in, as I just randomly talked to him one day about one of his old maps, which has not had any plays for like a year. But it was a
Mm.
map called Maze Wars, very long time ago now, and I just said, "Hey, there's a couple things I think you can improve for this." And me thinking, "Oh wow, he's a person with 1 million+ followers. He's not going to see it. It's just a shot in the dark." Same day, sure, you can come have a look. Brilliant.
It's
So
awesome.
I started working with him on that map, and then from there it went to Locky Studios, which is now Yap Maps. Um,
Oh, yep.
and that team to me was stacked. Lockie's, Atch, myself. We had all different ends. Lockie's with the social media, Atch with the mechanics, and then me just about scraping by with being able to cover the builds. So but now, admittedly, the Starfall team wipes that team. I think I think your current team for Sparks wipes that team. But
Well, we don't have everything that you guys have. Like obviously you've got incredible strength not only in level design but also in verse coding
oh yeah. Well, you say the
and
team. You
promotion.
say the team. We know who has the strength in verse in our team,
Well,
and that's
yeah,
Edge.
yes, I suppose, yeah. He's helped me
I
out on a few
I
occasions.
cannot take any single credit for any line in that verse code. The Starfall. I
Yeah.
can confidently say 99.9% of the verse done in Starfall is by Atch.
Um.
Maybe that point 1 is
Well,
Litten.
that incredible verse kind of goes back to the point that I had started before trailing off from, which was the obviously competition, like
Mm,
you said, is very very good and very healthy. And for a while, I didn't really have any, and that caused me to kind of get a little bit lazy. I think when I first entered UEFN, I released this really rushed, not very good iteration of snapshots, and Starfall
mm.
Chapter 2 released 10 days later and blew it out of the water. It wiped it, you know? It was a real wake up call and something that I think still I'm kind of, especially since you guys are now gearing up for Chapter 3, and I'm working on a reboot, I'm really trying now to kind of earn my spot at the top or,
Yeah.
as one of the top
Yeah,
BR
because
maps.
I do remember that release of snapshots. There is one thing I will always remember. You had gravity-defying water. You
Yep,
you
yep.
had water flowing uphill,
The
which was something
rivers,
else.
the river splines, I have never been too good with in UEFN. I think
Mm.
I will delegate that duty to Bunny for the reboot because they are much more proficient at stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not a spline guy. What can I say?
That's fair. I mean, I know when I joined in with the BR community, I saw snapshots as this. I don't want to say lower end, but it wasn't exactly. I saw my first look at snapshots was Venture 2, and it was the release of Venture
Yeah,
2. So to me, in my head, that is what snapshots look like. So in my eyes, I was like, okay, I think we are on top as a team at Starfall. I think we hold higher than Venture 2, but
easily.
but considering now that I've learned about the history of it with how you held it kind of against Fortnite for a while and then Starfall eventually rose up, to me, I've just jumped in where Starfall is on par, if not at points beating Snapshots, but at points Snapshots was beating Starfall way before, and it's like, so I've only joined in to this community on the tail end of it, really.
Yeah, I mean, that was certainly not a good start to the UEFN era for me. I think I was kind of that was a really weak release, and that definitely helped. I mean, you guys had an incredible release of Star Wars Chapter 2. It was pretty much flawless, I think, at launch.
No. I wish it was flawless. I wish it was flawless. We had two major issues with it. We had obviously the rubber banding with the AIs,
Hmm.
and we had what was it? It was when the first game loaded up. It was all excited. Everyone was happy. Everyone was ready to play. The music was hitting, which is absolutely amazing, by the way. Drubber did an amazing job. Um,
Yep,
and absolutely amazing guy. Um, I I think I can say this. He is also going to be doing music for Chapter 3. Um,
good.
in and some of the music we've already heard for it is amazing. But his music hits. It's all great. It's all building up, and then game ended. We wanted to stab someone. Okay, that was me. I threatened to stab someone, but within 15 seconds, Atch had the editor open. The team was up till 4 a.m. fixing it. It's not even my time zone, 4 a.m. It was them. Their
Oh,
zone's 4 a.m.
that's
So,
um, that's got to be like 9 a.m. for us, right?
yeah, that was. I got up and they were still up.
Yeah,
I've had some of those days where I've gone to sleep, woken up before I have to go out, and I've had Lytton still on the call and like Zero Crew still on the call. And
that's
I just joined
crazy.
the call and I'm like, what are you morons doing? Why aren't you asleep? But no, there's definitely a thing of UEFN just doesn't work half the time. It's like, I mean, you had your issues with HLODs, just like we have our current issue with HLODs on our
Oh,
server.
Don't even get me started. HLD is one of my least favorite things about UEFN. The fact that we have to use this
Mm-hmm. They're so
so bad.
painful. Oh, they
Yeah,
are so painful. It's like the amount of times the main issue with HLODs now is traumatizing, to say the least. I think that's the quickest way to say it.
exactly.
But no, it's just like there's so many things that go wrong with HLODs, and there's so many things that. Okay, admittedly, the editor works in its wonderful ways at points. Sometimes things flow together so well.
Oh, definitely. I
But
don't think the Unreal Editor, I think it's still one of the best game engines in the world, but there
yeah,
are some things that are just so painful to use.
it is.
And
The
HODs are one of
amount
them.
of times that editor has been threatened to be blown up, stabbed, put under a flamethrower, and those are all just by me.
That is so real.
That's and the funniest part is I can't use the editor because this laptop sucks. I'm the only person on the team who can't use the editor.
Yeah, and it requires quite a lot of processing
Yeah,
power, doesn't it?
and the funniest thing is, on UEFN launch day when it first came out, do you remember the thing of where it blocked under 18s?
Yeah, yeah, I do.
So it blocked because at the time, we're fine now, but at the time, Lockies and Natch weren't able to use it because of that blockage.
Oh, really?
But guess who was the one person on the team whose account could run it, but who couldn't run the editor?
Oh dear.
My account could run the editor, but my laptop could not.
I got very lucky, you see. I turned 18 literally less than 2 months before the editor release. If they
Oh,
didn't
that's
delay it from
fair.
January, which was the last delay, I think I probably wouldn't have been able to use it for a few days after launch.
Yeah. See, the funniest part is, I'm 17 and my account was fine. I can say
Oh,
this, Epic, it's fine. I'm nearly 18. It's fine.
nearly.
Yeah,
That's
there. Um, but
yeah.
the way I actually found it was in the I don't know whether you've gone on this before, but on the Epic Games account stuff, you can download this file on everything your account has done. There's like this
I did not know
entire
you could do that. No,
there's like this entire file on your
like
account
all
which
of
you can
the
download.
data they have on you.
Yeah,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
and in one of the top few pages, there's one specific line where age was unknown, so it puts the account in non-minor, which means it's over 18, which means I could
Oh,
use the editor.
I
So my
see.
account, for whatever reason, just does not have a date of birth, which I find odd because isn't that like a basic question they ask at the start or something?
I'm pretty sure they usually make you put that in, so that's quite
Yeah.
strange.
So I don't know how that's happened because everyone else I talk to has their date of birth in the system. But
Yeah,
mine, it's not there. I'm not complaining, but it's not there. It was just so weird.
strange.
But
Yeah.
no, I mean, yeah, I mean, if we move on, it's just like there's so many little things with the editor, and it's like I work with an amazing team. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I work with an absolutely amazing team who are so great to learn with, just to be around, and just the amount of jokes we make at each other could easily keep us laughing for about a week straight. But
Yeah, it's a lovely group of people,
oh yeah, they are. But
in my experience.
yeah, I think the main thing is now is just we're all learning off of each other. We're all learning, working together, and so half this community is just filled with like hating each other, trying to kill each other, and threatening each other. But
Exactly.
then you've got another half of the community where it's like who actually want to work together and who actually want to promote each other. It's like you've got Immature and his creator showcases, which are an absolutely amazing stream every single time. Can
Yeah.
absolutely recommend any creative person to check those out. And it's like now with one of my goals with FC News is just to promote smaller creators and like keep news up on them. And it's like, yeah, I do still promote on Starfall, snapshots, and all of that, but
Yeah.
I still cover obviously the creative news. Stuff is like that, but it's also like I'm not just covering BRs. I'm also covering every other type of map that comes into my way, and it's like if I see a reasonable reason to promote it, it's like there's no way I'm going to be promoting like a map like the Pit. What's that going to do? What am I going to do to that? Give it one more player that it's already played with? It's like what am I
Yeah.
going to do? But
I don't think there's anyone out there that doesn't know the pit in
exactly.
Fortnite.
There's no point in me promoting that, but it's like these smaller creators, especially smaller BR creators. It's like this community. It can be harsh. It is a harsh landscape at points, and
Uh-huh.
it does
100%.
it does take a lot of effort to be within this community at points. Is I've had to take a couple mental breaks at points. I've had two major ones where I've taken I think the longest one I had was just under a month off. Um, and that was needed as I took time off to work on myself a little bit. And no one's, I'm going to say this, I'm not there fully. I don't think anyone is, especially in this community. Dear gosh, no one is.
No,
Um,
we're all mental.
yeah, exactly. In this BL community, I'm going to say this. This is like an inside kind of thing with the community. You got to be insane to stay here half the time. You gotta be. You gotta be
Yeah,
crazy.
you've got to have a certain level of self-hatred to actually put up with the community for this long. Like,
Yeah,
especially us, snapshots and stuff will have been subjected to a lot of community, let's call it feedback.
that's an understatement.
And yeah, so it's honestly a miracle we're both still here.
Oh, yeah, it is. Honestly, at some points, I wished I didn't carry on, but then you get to see the
Well,
results. Then
I
you get
tell
to
you
see the
what,
results.
there is on a slightly more serious level, there was
Mm,
a time last year where I honestly did not know if I could keep doing this, and it really affected like my morale and my mental health. But
yeah,
eventually, I just pushed through it. I made it out the other side. Now I'm happy with where things are. I'm working on a reboot of Snapshots, which I think is going to be really exciting because it's like I said earlier, when it comes to it, competition, it inspires me to do better. And it's also like you said, when you've got your whole team, helping each other out. I've built Spark Games, merged that with Syndicate. So we've got so many talented people just all in one big group. We've got also we've got X Empire, X Royale Creator, we've got
yeah,
um the bite-sized crew, since I've brought them all on to work on snapshots. We've got obviously Call Me Nearly, all of his people like Power Clash and such. It's just such a talented group of people, and we now finally have someone for everything. Like, we have
yeah,
verse professionals, we have level designers, we have modelers, and it's just so incredible to be able to kind of bounce ideas off of each other and just be the best creators that we can be, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's not about competition. It's not about, I mean that in the sense of, being the best. It's not about getting the highest numbers or players or view counts, because let's be
mm,
honest, battle royales are a sinkhole.
yep.
That is a black hole. You are not getting returns on
No,
your investments.
no.
But it's about making something really cool that
Yeah,
people care about. And people do care, even if they don't play them, because I suppose there's not really much reason to play a Battle Royale when Fortnite Battle Royale is right there.
yeah.
That's something I'm still trying to investigate, if there are ways to make something more incentivized. But
I think there is. It is just.
I think we just haven't cracked it yet.
I have a vague idea, and it is something I've also been looking into a little bit, and it's something I want to understand, and I think I know why. I just don't know the how.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's so many challenges in this community. It's like I've gone through many personal challenges while in this community and outside this community, as while it's not something I don't publicize, it's I spent a portion of my life in a wheelchair and then on crutches.
Oh.
So I spent time having to physically rework myself. So to have to mentally also keep up with this community as well is another challenge that got added onto the top of it. And it is something that is an absolute pain to deal with at points, but it's such a pleasure to still be in this community and to be the position I'm in. I know I'm not a big creator in this community, and I could always hope I will be, but I can never say I will be, as I can't guarantee it. But
Well, I think, well, firstly, I must say huge congratulations to you
thank
on
you.
on your successes, just like, with your health. I think that's actually that's absolutely incredible. Um,
Yeah, thank you.
it's like that's something I can't even imagine how difficult that is.
Mm,
And I think dealing with like the mental side of things is, I wouldn't say it's on the same level, of course, but obviously it's a good reminder that while not everything is like obviously such a physical thing to deal with, the mental taxation, I guess, the mental like load can't be underestimated
yeah,
sometimes.
no, it
Um,
can't be.
I think honestly you have the potential to become like a bigger creator. I think you've got a good head start here with FCNews and the podcast. I think the podcast is a really cool idea.
Yeah,
You might
thank
remember,
you.
I don't know, did you ever watch Ben Dominator's creative podcast back in the day?
No, I didn't. I don't think I was around at that time.
Yeah, that was more in the 2021 to 22 days to be fair. But
Yeah,
I used to watch that back in the day, just listen to it while I was still building, when I was still unknown. And I think the community needs us like a hub for kind of creators to get together and talk. Like we were obviously, you and I were both on a call last night as of recording this with the Starfall devs, and we were joking about how we should have a Yap session just
yeah.
as a podcast,
Oh,
just
that yeah,
because it's the kind of
yeah. I brought that up. Yeah,
interaction and just enjoyment between creators that I think we need more of,
mm,
because just so much of the community is so toxic. And I will say, I'm going to say this, it's going to sound like I'm like looking down or punching down or something, but I have noticed that a lot of the most toxic people are the ones that haven't been able to get their name out there. But I
mm,
think all you really need to do to get your name out there in terms of battle royale side of creative community is just make something unique, which you guys are doing, uh, and be nice and just keep
yeah,
innovating. And I'm not going to say I'm this huge innovator, but I think in 2022, especially, I was pretty much the only battle royale running that was like consistently like live service. Like every single week, I had an update. Every single week, I had an
yeah.
LTM. Every other week, pretty much, I had a seasonal event. I had live events. Well, not live events, like cinematics every single season to keep the story going. And even though the story was, I took story beats from Fortnite.
Hmm.
Not proud of that, but I made them work. I think I made entertaining stuff that people enjoyed, and people like to criticize me. They like to say I didn't earn my success, but I like to think that I just did something no one else was doing, and I dedicated myself to it for. I mean, it's been over 2 years now, and obviously that I've taken bits of downtime, like right now,
Yeah.
where I'm working on other stuff.
Hmm.
Because obviously I'm still working on snapshots in the background. It's always
Oh
part of
yeah,
my life.
yeah.
I'm never gonna leave it.
It's not escaping you,
I
or you're not
no,
escaping it.
I'm not escaping it. But that's what it really takes. So you guys have got Starfall. Obviously, Starfall Chapter 3 is going to be huge.
Hmm.
I personally, if I was in your position, I think I would have continued making seasonal updates to Chapter 2, but I understand that
We
there was
wish.
stuff
We
behind the
wish.
scenes
Yeah, we wish.
and other reasons that you couldn't. Um,
We
and
wish
well,
we could have.
I'm not one to talk since I did spend that year updating, and now I've just gone and basically said, it's not canon actually. I'm going to completely redo it, but sometimes that's the way the cards fall.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming on today. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you on. It has been an amazing episode.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to get out there? Anything you want to promote?
Well, I must say it's been a wonderful yap session as always. Thank you for having me.
My
I look
pleasure.
forward to seeing this go out and potentially turning into some future episodes, which anyone listening should do right now. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, play Apollo late game, like and favorite the map. Always got to do that,
Yep.
and just stay creative.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye bye.